30 seconds of getting in order and making sure I'm in shot. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back again to my channel. Today we're going to talk about that time as a kid when I got Botox. That's right, you heard correctly, I got Botox. So let me set the scene, okay? I'm about 12 to 15 years old, I want to say. I don't know exactly, I can't remember exactly. And at school there's an opportunity, or I don't really know how it came about, but there's a specialist doctor who is using Botox injections on people with, I'm going to say cerebral palsy because that's what I've got, so, and he was doing it on me, so using Botox on people with cerebral palsy to help their leg muscles relax. Now, again, I don't really know how I came to be chosen to do this. I can't remember if there were other people that got the opportunity to do it, but today I'm going to tell you the story of that whole experience of me and Botox and the doctor. I'm between the ages of 12 and 15, I'm not quite sure where, and I can't remember how it happened, but it's been decided that I'm doing this. This is that I'm having appointments and consultations with physios and whoever, and getting this done. Obviously, we'd spoken about it before, and I was of an age, and I think it was of a time where I understood what Botox was and how it was being used in popular culture and the media, and that people would have it in their face to stop wrinkles in their face from moving or in other areas. So, like, I knew what Botox was, and my friends knew what Botox was, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I'm in the school physio room getting ready for a consultation with this doctor specialist. Apparently, I can remember being told that he was like the top guy in his field of whatever stuff that he did, so it was a good opportunity and a good thing to experience and have this person do whatever it was he was going to do with the Botox. And yeah, so I'm sat in the school physio room waiting to have a consultation with this man. I can't remember exactly if my parents were there at the time when he came to the school. They might have been, they might not have been. I mean, I was young, but I can't remember if they were there or not. So don't quote me on that. But they might not have been there for that part. They might have been. But anyway, I can remember. He walks in, and I'm laying on like the physio table thing. We're discussing stuff. At this point, he's got a dictaphone, and he's recording the consultation so that when he goes back and I finally go to my appointment, which won't be for a little while after this consultation, he'll remember what he's said, and he'll have it there to follow through on. Remember that I've said this, okay? He's got a dictaphone, and he's recording it. Remember I said that. He is recording on the dictaphone the consultation of what he's going to do with the Botox in my body. Okay? Remember that. Emphasizing that point. He's going through the areas in which he's going to inject the Botox into my legs, okay? And I can remember that there were going to be 3 sections of my legs that he was going to target. And I can't remember if it was 3 in each leg or in the specific sections, or whether it was 2, like one side and one side, or whether it was just one and then on the other leg. So it's either I'm getting 6 injections, 3 in both legs, or I'm getting 12 injections, 6 in both legs. Now that seems a bit extreme, but I can't remember. It was some time ago. But either way, I'm going to end up like a pincushion. And where these injections were going, as far as I can remember, were in the lower part of my leg, then somewhere in this part of my leg, or by my ankle maybe, and then up. And there's definitely some going in my groin. And the idea was that he was going to do it in both legs, whether it be 3 in both or 6 in both. I can't remember that detail, but rest assured, it was meant to be in both legs. When you have cerebral palsy, there is a stronger muscle in your leg that pulls tighter, right? And that's why there's different variants of it, but that's why if you see someone with cerebral palsy, it's hard for them to straighten and relax their feet into a position. They want to spring out, and mine do it slightly, not as severe as some people, but it does that, and it's involuntary. I can't overly control it. And sometimes when you're concentrating on whatever, you don't realise that it's happening until after the fact. And then you try and, well, me personally, I try and sort it out as best I can, but sometimes it's not as easy. Anyway, that's what it's meant to do. It's meant to relax the stronger muscle in your leg and pull your foot straight and your leg, and let the weaker muscle gain strength so that it can stop the stronger muscle being able to overtake, and your legs sprawl out and your feet go everywhere. That's my understanding of it. Short, quick way of explaining it. It's meant to weaken the stronger muscle and give the weaker muscle a chance to work. So I've had the consultation. He's recorded it. He's planned out everything that he's going to do the next time that I see him. Fast forward. I can't remember if it might have been a couple of weeks. It might have been about a month. May have been a little bit longer. Can't remember. But there was some time elapsed, and I went to school in Southend, so he was a specialist and the top of his game, as I've said. So he was well sought after, and we went to Southend Hospital because it was done through the school. The day of the appointment. Now, I don't really get nervous, but I was a little bit nervous about the fact that I was about to be injected in my legs, in my groin, in the inside of my groin, twice. As a teenager, I don't know anybody who wouldn't be slightly nervous about the fact that they were going to get injected with something in their groin. So I'm just going to emphasise that point enough so that people realise that the other ones, I mean, yes, it's a needle and it's Botox, but I didn't really think about it overly. But I was nervous. Obviously, I was nervous. I was like, get to Southend. the day of the appointment. My parents are with me now. I definitely know this. And we're in a waiting room. And then I get escorted by a nurse to a room in the hospital, which, not being funny, wasn't the most hospital smelling, feeling clean environment that I had imagined. And I've sat up on a hospital, well, I transferred up onto a hospital bed. This nurse, who, she may have been lovely, but I remember she wasn't the most attractive, and she wasn't the most calming of a person. And me being a young boy, man, on that cusp, when she told me to get on the table and take my trousers off, I did not feel comfortable. The room did not feel clean. I mean, I'm pretty sure it must have been, but it just didn't feel like a hospital to me. And I'm sat on this bed with like a brown paper sheet over it, and I'm in my boxer shorts or my pants. I can't remember what I was wearing, but anyway, I was just sitting there with my dad and my mum, as you do, waiting to get pinpricked with some Botox for about, I want to say 10 minutes. Then the doctor, consultant, Big Cheese walks in. Can't remember his name, but he was quite like old, I'd say in his 50s or 60s. I can remember grey short hair and glasses, but I can't remember his name. I'm sitting there, transpires, remember what I said earlier, right? About the dictaphone? Okay. He turns to me, or me and my parents, and says, do you remember when we were doing the consultation? I can't remember exactly what I said. And I was like, but you had a dictaphone, right? You recorded the consultation, so what do you mean you can't remember? That's why you had the dictaphone. And then he I can't remember exactly, but he kind of, whether he sort of laughed nervously or he just said, yeah, about that, there wasn't a tape in my dictaphone, so I was recording none of said consultation with you. I can't remember what I said, and even though I'd reminded him that what was going to happen was a number of injections in my legs, both sides, he decided that he was only going to do one injection. I can't remember if that again is one in my leg or it was two. I think it was one injection, but two each side of whatever area he decided that like it was going to go in my leg. Anyway, so I'm having. Remember, I'm going to say 6, okay, because that just makes more sense to me in my head. I might be wrong. It might have been 3, but I was going to get 6 or 3 injections in each leg. Now, after waiting and finally getting an appointment, I'm getting 1 injection into one leg. 1 or 2 injections into one leg. Not filling me with confidence, because you're meant to be the top guy and you can't even put a tape in a dictaphone when you're having a consultation with a 12 to 15 year old. And I'm going from having a full program of whatever's happening in my body and my legs to having 1/2 injections into one area in one of my legs. I can't exactly remember. I think it was the lower part of my leg that he decided he was going to inject. So I was kind of happy about the fact that it wasn't going into my groin. I'm nervously waiting to be pinpricked, needled in the area he has now decided, even though I'm slightly confused and not really confident about this whole thing happening anymore, because he doesn't sound like he has a fucking clue what he's doing. Pardon my French, but, you know, you're getting paid a lot of money to be a doctor, consultant, surgeon, whatever it is you are, and you've forgotten what you're doing. So I'm laying there. He's now getting ready to inject me. He's injected me with Botox. Botox is now in my leg and in my body. See how that works and what effect it has on your muscles and your leg and stuff. He says all that and then turns while my parents are in the room and me and says, let's hope that I've injected that in the right area, otherwise you're going to be paralysed for however long the Botox works for, and you won't be able to move your leg at all. I'm assuming that's what it meant. Yeah, that was scary as fuck. Again, sorry for swearing, but a doctor has just injected me with some foreign body and then turned to me and said, I hope I've done that correctly, because otherwise you will be paralysed for a little while. Not the best thing to say to somebody. Your bedside manner needs some work. How have you got to where you've got to? I have not. It was like Carry On film. It worked. I wasn't paralysed. Like, it did what it was supposed to do, but it didn't do it for very long. And that's probably because, and thankfully, because, let me tell you later on, thankfully it didn't last very long, and thankfully he didn't do the more injections after what he did with that, and then what he said. Didn't really want him to touch me anymore, didn't really want to do that again, because I think what the plan was, in my head anyway, thinking logically now as an adult, would have been, okay, we'll do this as a tester, see what happens, and then see him again and do the full thing. That, disclaimer, did not happen because he didn't fill me with confidence. The Botox thing worked. It worked for about 48 hours at a push, maybe a little bit less, and then my foot went back to how it was. But for 48 hours, I could control my foot, my foot was easier to move, and it was straight, and it would stay straight. They're not straight now, but you can't see it. I mean, they're not bad, but they're not straight now. There was no way in hell that I was letting him touch me again, and I think my parents were in full agreement, because it was a disaster, a comedy of mistakes. He didn't fill me with confidence, and I was at that point a child and a young adult, so I don't think that my parents really took too much convincing when I said I don't think I'm going to do that again, because he scared me. Like, who says that to somebody? I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but they did it back then. Trials or whatever. I don't know whether it was a trial and a new thing they were trying, or whether that had been happening and I got picked to have a go, but it wasn't my best it wasn't my best experience, let me tell you. That is the story of me getting Botox when I was a child. Never again. Never again. Stay safe, kids. That's me and my Botox, and I'll catch you in the next one. Alright, bye-bye.